In this video, I'm going to be talking about the historiography of my dissertation, which is rape and sexual assault in the American Civil War. When investigating the rape in the American Civil War, the research builds on several bodies of historical scholarship concerning key works of the American Civil War, rape in war, rape in the American Civil War, and examining key works of historians in order to in examining key works of historians on the American Civil War, work to establish a broad basis from which to establish the claim that rape was prevalent during the Civil War, which is actually a counterclaim to what many Civil War historians claim, which is that it was a low rape or no rape war, as well as establishing the basis that the claim that rape was considered a weapon of war during the American Civil War. As far as Civil War scholarship or historians, we take a look at James McPherson, David M. Potter, Eric Fauner, William Freeling, and Elizabeth Veron. They all have varying views on on the cause of the Civil War, and of course have written about different aspects of the Civil War and Reconstruction. James McPherson, his argument has three basic tenets about modernization and Civil War. We also have and the idea about the end of slavery and the passing and all about the revolutionary status of the Civil War. We've got Fauner, who argues, of course, that slavery was the root of the Civil War, and Veron, who argues that the sectional tensions of the Civil War, which caused the Civil War, came from the increasingly diverging interest between the North and the South. We go on to talk about those who talk about the Civil War being a no rape or low rape war. Historians like Mark Grimsley, Michael Fellman, Reed Mitchell, Drew Gilpin Faust, who claim that the instances of rape in the American Civil War were so minimal that they didn't amount to any significant problem, and conclude that it was a low rape war, or that what rapes did occur were again, rapes of black women, and so they didn't really matter. And the fact that a lot of these historians, their claims are often contradictory, claiming on one hand that few rapes occurred, and then on the other hand acknowledge that there's not really enough information available to actually conclude that the prevalence of rape in the Civil War. Then you have historians talking about rape, like Derek K. Cohen, Miranda Allison, Hannah Baumeister, and Sarah Brown Miller, who talk about rape and war or rape and Civil War. Theirs is more modern take, but it's applicable to the American Civil War. You can apply those ideas to the Civil War. They have substantially documented rape and war, Cohen especially, with her book rape during the Civil War in several articles, shows how rape, especially specifically gang rape, can be and may be used during war to create like a cohesive unit, a cohesion within armed groups. It creates these bonds of loyalty, and from these men who join these groups, and this fear and mistrust, and this is, applies most specifically with armed groups that don't have a lot of resources, and they're not really able to intensively train their groups like an active military might. These are groups that have just been recruited for this particular war, and so they have to find a different way to find that cohesiveness within their group. And so then this gang rape functions as that mechanism of of cohesiveness and socialization for their group. And lastly, scholars who talk about rape during the Civil War, and there are a few, Kim Murphy especially, Crystal and Feimster, E. Susan Barber, and Charles F. Ritter. They do provide detailed analysis. E. Susan Barber and Charles F. Ritter were kind of the first to really kind of delve into this subject in 2009, and they concluded that women across all social groups, all age groups, and all racial groups were subjected to rape and sexual violence by soldiers during the Civil War. And they didn't discriminate between the North or the South. They said it was really kind of both, although, it really was a Northern violence for the most part. Now, we can't say it was definitely Northern violence, mainly because we don't have enough evidence from the Confederacy to complete that analysis. But what we can say is that both, that the evidence is available to support that. So by examining the secondary sources and, of course, the primary sources, letters, diaries, documents, from American Civil War history, truths of an overlooked and really understudied aspect of the American Civil War, this rape and sexual assault during the American Civil War, can be revealed. I think so. So that's my take on the historiography of rape and sexual assault during the American Civil War.